Hello everyone. Today I'm exploring the planet Venus in astrology as part of my astrology series. Venus, the second planet from the Sun, is one of the most important planets in astrology, shaping our understanding of love, relationships, beauty, pleasure, and material abundance. But is Venus simply about romance and aesthetics, or does it also govern financial wealth? The debate over Venus's true nature runs deep in astrological tradition. To understand Venus in astrology, we need to understand her mythology. In mythology, Venus is most famously associated with the Roman goddess of love, beauty, and fertility. That's her on the screen in all her beauty. The Greeks knew her as Aphrodite, the divine embodiment of attraction, sensuality, and the arts. Venus's myth is deeply tied to the birth of beauty and desire itself. According to one version, she emerged fully formed from the sea foam after the god Uranus was castrated, and his severed parts were cast into the ocean. Venus's stories are filled with themes of passionate love, seduction, artistic inspiration, and material indulgence. Her numerous affairs, particularly with Mars, Aries in Greek mythology, symbolize the tension between love and war, attraction and conflict. This duality, pleasure versus consequence, remains an essential part of Venus's astrological influence. In typical Venus fashion, let me rather paint a picture when explaining the meaning of Venus in astrology. Imagine stepping into Venus's celestial palace, where love, beauty, and luxury reign supreme. Here, every room is adorned with glistening jewels, plush velvet cushions, and the intoxicating scent of roses, because Venus is all about pleasure. In one corner, lovers whisper sweet nothings, guided by Venus's hand in matters of romance and attraction. Down the grand hallway, artists, musicians, and designers create masterpieces of fashion, music, and aesthetics inspired by her boundless grace. Meanwhile, in the Great Hall of Indulgence, a lavish feast unfolds. Fine dining, exquisite wines, and the kind of desserts that make your soul swoon, all under Venus's watchful eye. But it's not just about excess. Venus is also the queen of harmony, fairness, and diplomacy, ensuring that everything flows as smoothly as a perfectly choreographed waltz. Whether she's guiding us through social grace, helping us attract abundance, or urging us to splurge on that designer handbag, Venus is the cosmic patron of love, beauty, and life's sweetest pleasures. While we all have Venus in our chart, mine is in Scorpio, which is a little unusual. Venus is more at home with certain signs. Venus, the cosmic queen of pleasure and harmony, splits her time between two very different yet equally fabulous kingdoms, Taurus and Libra. In Taurus, she lounges in luxury, savoring the finest wines, indulging in silk sheets, and basking in the stability of earthly delights, because nothing says Venusian like good food, financial security, and a wardrobe that screams sophistication. Meanwhile, in Libra, Venus swaps her hedonistic retreat for the glamorous world of high society, where charm, diplomacy, and aesthetics rule. Here, she's less about material wealth and more about relationships, balance, and intellectual beauty, effortlessly curating the perfect atmosphere for connection and elegance. Beyond her zodiacal reign, Venus also holds dominion over two crucial life arenas: the second house of money, self-worth, and possessions, ensuring we appreciate the finer things in life, and the seventh house of partnerships, where love, contracts, and one-on-one connections flourish under her guidance. Whether she's helping us build a fortune or find our perfect match, Venus is always busy weaving a little bit of magic into our lives. There is an ongoing debate in astrology about Venus's role in financial matters. Is Venus truly a planet of wealth, or does it merely symbolize indulgence and beauty? Let's look at the arguments for and against. Venus, with its rulership over Taurus and the second house, undeniably has a strong connection to money, luxury, and material security. Those with a well-placed Venus in their natal chart often seem to effortlessly attract wealth, much like a magnet pulling in abundance through charm, beauty, and social grace. The Taurus influence reinforces this, as Venus in Taurus is deeply tied to financial stability, possessions, and the finer things in life. Many luxury industries, fashion, cosmetics, art, music, and entertainment fall under Venusian rule, offering a direct path to wealth through aesthetic appeal. A person with Venus conjunct the midheaven or in the second house might make a fortune simply by existing in a way that pleases others. Think of celebrities, social media influencers, or designers who profit from beauty and indulgence. In this sense, Venus can be seen as the planet of wealth through attraction, making financial success seem effortless and enjoyable. While Venus may attract luxury, true financial prosperity requires more than just charm and indulgence. Many astrologers argue that Jupiter and Saturn are the real planets of wealth. Jupiter brings abundance, luck, and financial expansion, while Saturn ensures long-term stability, discipline, and strategic financial growth. Venus, on the other hand, is associated with spending money rather than accumulating it, much like the person who splurges on designer clothing but forgets to pay their bills. While Venus rules pleasure and material beauty, it doesn't have the ambition, planning, or structure required to build lasting financial success. A strong Jupiter can indicate vast financial growth, while a well-placed Saturn ensures wealth is sustained over time. Venus alone might suggest temporary riches, indulgence, or a love for luxury without the foundation to maintain it. Ultimately, Venus may be a symbol of money, but whether that money stays depends on other planetary influences. Venus can be either a morning star, rising before the sun, or an evening star, setting after the sun. These phases influence how Venus expresses itself. The morning star. Venus, named after the Latin word Lucifer, meaning light-bringer, this Venus is the ultimate party starter. It's bold, impulsive, and romantic. Think of the person who falls in love at first sight and writes poetry about it an hour later. They're the ones who make grand romantic gestures, like booking a last-minute trip to Paris for a first date. Picture Romeo serenading Juliet under her balcony, total morning star Venus vibes. In contrast, the evening star Venus, known as Hesperus, is like the slow-burn romance novel protagonist who takes time to trust and open up. They're the ones who analyze every text message before responding and would rather have a deep conversation about the meaning of love than jump into an impulsive romance. Picture a classic Jane Austen novel, polite, refined, and cautiously romantic. So lastly, no video on Venus would be honest without talking about one of my worst transits, Venus retrograde. This is one of the most significant and challenging transits in astrology, occurring approximately every 18 months for around 40 or so days. During this time, the usual flow of love, beauty, finances, and relationships slows down, and themes of the past tend to resurface. Venus, the planet of attraction and harmony, does not function smoothly when retrograde. Its usual powers of connection, indulgence, and pleasure turn inward, forcing a deep review of values, love, money, and self-worth. A Venus retrograde period can feel like a cosmic relationship audit, where unresolved emotions, old wounds, and unfinished financial or romantic business return for re-evaluation. In my experience, people can become emotionally difficult when dealing with this emotional audit. We all deal with stress differently. Venus is undeniably the planet of love, beauty, and pleasure, but its role in financial matters is more nuanced. While it attracts money, luxury, and comfort, true financial success often requires Jupiter's expansion, Saturn's discipline, and the second house ruler's influence. Venus ultimately teaches us about what we value, whether in relationships, art, or material possessions, helping us shape a life of beauty and balance. Whether we see Venus as a goddess of romance or a symbol of wealth, one thing is certain: Venus brings grace, charm, and the power of attraction wherever it goes. Wishing you much Venus energy into your life.